back again with another live stream. Okay, I'm going to take it back up from where I left off with the 8TB Seagate expansion drive. That's what they call it. I was looking at the piece of paper over there. Let's see. Yeah, make sure my sound is good. Okay, I'm going to go to the desktop. Yep. Okay. Now, what I decided was that I needed to. I copied my fstab file from. I'll show it. From Fedora 28 here, and it is different. The only thing you see in here is just the hard drive in the machine. So whatever's handling the auto mounting of the USB drives and everything is probably in another file somewhere. But in Fedora 14, it's in the fstab file. There may be, like, they've started dividing things up in different categories, basically different. These are config files, that's what they are, and so they put them in different. Let's see, accessible file systems by reference are maintained under dev disk. CMan pages, fstab 5, find fs8, mount 8, and or blkid 8 for more info. So yeah, that might be some of the other files like find fs and mount and things where it's in the newer versions of Fedora. So I can't just, I was thinking I might be able to copy and paste whatever was in here, but it's not in here. Now maybe I actually could go to these other files, but I think looking around in there and figuring all that out might take longer than just, I used to do it a lot, edit fstab file, and so in Fedora 14 that's where it needs to be. I know that much. So I think if I go in there and I know the ID that's being used, the way it just defaulted whenever I reformatted it, you know. So see how that long number there, it's doing it like that. This is not, wait a minute, no, that's not it. See, there's the 5TB nor the 8TB are in the fstab file. This is root partition, and then this is boot partition, and this is home, and that's swap. So that's the only thing in here. So, but that's what they look like, fstab files. Well, that's what Fedora 28's fstab files look like, and I just copied it to my. It's good to always have a backup of them anywhere. It used to be. They used to get messed up sometimes, and you'd have to fix them, you know. But especially if you were working on them yourself. But so my backup videos are going good, so I'm going to close that so I won't have as many things running. And let's get over here on the remote desktop. And I think what I'll need to do is, you know, plug that drive in over there, and then I think it will show up in, I'll just go ahead and connect to the machine, and I'll show you where. I could do it on this machine, but I might as well do it on the one I'm going to be working on. It'll be in dev folders where it'll be. Well, actually, there's two folders that are used. It's kind of, well, I'll just show it. Okay, let's see, getting lost here. There we go. Okay, now go over here in Crusader, and you got to be have root privileges to edit the fstab files. So. But I'll just go ahead and look around in the regular Crusader for now, and then I'll have to. I just left the 8TB drive plugged into my machine, and let it go ahead and mount up, you know. And while that's taking its time to open up, I'll go over here, see it mounted up. And I'm actually glad, right? The thing is I actually had intended to keep the same name as, just like it used to have. It said Seagate expansion drive. It was, you couldn't tell them apart though. You know, it was hard. I mean, you had to pay real close attention to tell them apart. But in certain programs, anyway, I like that right now. But I may want to try to figure out how to change it to be like this one is, because either that or I'm going to have to re-edit all of my backup profiles. This one's going to end up being my USB backup drive, and this one I believe I'm going to take out of the box and put it. I'm sure I'm going to take it out of the box and put it in some machine. Or well, I keep going around and around about it, but I could put this one in the Lenovo i5 and have a nice big hard drive in it. But I also need lots of backup space, so I have that Acer laptop. I thought about putting one in and making it a backup server, but because it wouldn't be loud or make a lot of heat. But and it's got a broken screen anyway, so you can't use it as a laptop. But then if I was going to do that, I'd really want the biggest drive in it, because you can only put one drive in you know, a laptop. So in that laptop, I've actually knew somebody that I've only heard of it once, and I haven't had a lot of laptops, but I had a friend that had a laptop that it had room for 2 drives in it. This was 10 years ago now, I guess. But anyway, he was talking about it, and I was like, "What? You got two drives in that laptop?" He goes, "Yeah." So anyway, now it's finally opened up. So those are my screenshots I was taking. So I guess I'll go on this side. So etc fstab is there. Oh, that's right. I was gonna. Yeah, there's no point in really even opening up fstab with, you know, when you can't edit it here. So let's just go ahead and get in Crusader root mode right now, so we'll be ready. Then I can close the regular Crusader so that I won't accidentally. Well, I don't want the machine working too hard. That's the main thing. Try to get it back to where I had it a while ago. There, that'll do. Okay, so now let's see, etc fstab. fstab, we'll open that up. Now see, here's the fstab file in Fedora 14. It's got all the extra. I've got 4 hard drives in there, so most of the I guess, yeah, I think I had to manually, every one of the hard drives I added, I had to manually enter these. The only ones that got done by default were these at the top that were done by, you know, the installation of Fedora 14. But see, it says dev mapper. Those are folders, dev mapper. And then it used red black Biostar. That was how it was labeled. And then the boot is UUID so and so so and so. And then this one is that was for the boot partition. And then dev mapper home. And then that one was one I had edited and commented out the swap partition for whatever reason. Then there it is again. I don't know why I ended up doing that. I have no clue. But anyway, there it is, the way it's working there now at this time. And then there's another one, UUID. That's another swap. Now that's in there. I don't know if that got done by accident on purpose. I might have done that. I don't know. That's one of the other drives that has an operating system on it, is what it is. Then there's a tempfs and a dev parts, PTFS. That could have something to do with like OpenSUSE or something. But I don't know. I don't remember. It's been too long. And then there's sysfs, all these different ones. Proc. Notice you didn't see any of that stuff in my newer system. If they're there, they're in different files now. Then here's the ones I did. Dev dist by label, and that was easiest for me to know which drive was which, you know. That's actually how it shows up in the folders. And then there was another one, though. Maybe that was the only way I could do it. OpenSUSE. Disk by UUID, and then it has a long number that looks like a MAC address or something. And then there's one more, the backup drive, and that's dev Fedora. And that's not disk by label, that's dev Fedora. I don't know how that ended up like that. There's different ways you can do it, though. But you have to, the beginning part, you could do it differently, but then the place you mount it, you need to, back Fedora 14 mounted things in media. You could mount it at mount to MNT, but I liked media. It worked really well, easy to get into. Remember, find it. Well, a mount's not hard to find, but I think you had the permissions were easier to get working right in media. I think that's what it was. I think mount, you had to be root to use it. But now that's something I'll have to do. Well, in here that's fine. In Fedora 28, it's automatic, luckily. So I don't have to worry about it, but it puts it in run user so-and-so, so-and-so. It's a lot harder to find when you want to go in there, that's for sure. But I'm going to move that over. Now, what was I going to look at? I was going to show you where. Okay, dev. Now there's dev. That's the folder, and then mapper. That's one of them. That's one of the ways they are identified. See, but there's the Fedora 14 system, and then there's another one, another backup drive that's in there for whatever reason. I don't know, to be honest. And then there's disk. Then there's disk by ID, disk by label. See those, the labels on those, I made those labels. Like a while, the first time I reformatted the 8 terabyte drive, I gave it the label I wanted. The second time I let it just be defaulted, and it got that long number. By path, which I think that actually can change. With a USB drive, I think that path may change every time it could possibly change. What if you put it in different? Well, actually, I think if you put it in different ports, it would change for sure, and it might even change depending on what you have in the other ports, even if you don't move it. I'm not sure about that. But then UID, now I think that may be the one I want. I made a screenshot a minute ago. I'll have to go look at it. Yeah, I think it's the UID. That's the one that I can find because that's how the drive shows up. Yeah. That's how the drive shows up. UUID. Well, that's how I was doing it with those other ones. So, I'm going to get back over here. Got to be careful in those folders. You want to delete any of that. Since I'm root, I could do that by accident. Okay, so let me open up something. I guess I'll just open up the. I'm going to show you my screenshots. What I'm going to do. I actually saved a few onto the drive, but it won't help me over there because it's not mounted yet. So I've got to show it from here. I think this will work. Well, yeah, maybe I should open up Crusader so I can find it quicker. But you will have thumbnails here, but I think it's organized really back, like different, and it takes a while for them to show up. I always forget that it does that. But it's maybe taking a lot longer than I expected. I went ahead and used this because I like it, but I keep forgetting how it's gotten the system resource hungry. 4% of 4 cores just to sit there and open up and do that. It didn't ever used to do that. I don't know what's wrong with this program now. Okay, so I think maybe the new ones may be on the bottom. We'll see. You can reorganize it, but it takes forever. I tried it the other day. I really can't tell. Let's see. The numbers are, yeah, that is today. Okay, 2018, 12, 20, so that should be good. Okay, now here it is. I went to, see, run media dawn, and I found the drive with its default name that it got because I didn't give it a name at that time. I think I forgot, but anyway, I had planned on making it show up just like that, Seagate expansion drive. That way I could, when I was done, it would, Lucky Backup would find it. I already know that will work because I did it by accident once. I had this one, the 5 terabyte unplugged, and so it, actually I think what happened is I unplugged it and then plugged it back in, and so it made the system see the 8 terabyte as the first one. It's weird with USB. So anyway, all my backups started back. I thought it wasn't working, and then I found them in my 8 terabyte drive. Right now that won't happen because they're labeled different though. So anyway, this is it in dev disk by UUID. So that's where I'll go. Yeah, so all I need to do is, well, let's see. We'll see if I can copy and paste back and forth. What I might need is a text file with that. I've got a screenshot, but I need a way to copy and paste that. And that's the other screenshots from when I was almost messed mine up. I really would have kind of messed up my system doing that if I would have done that. Okay, so while it's still mounted, I think I need to copy that into like just a text file or something. All I got to do is go to it. See, I went ahead and made some folders for those files I copied. I made a documents and a pictures folder. But that won't work over there. Okay, so what I need is not just a screenshot, but the screenshot's great, but Mounted on run media. See, and I don't want to do that in here. I don't think there is a run media. There might, no, there's maybe there's a run folder, but I don't think there's a run media Dawn folder that comes up in Fedora 14. So, trying to do something on there to let me know what in the world drive this is about. I don't see a way to tell. Oh, there it is, 7.2. That's just another screenshot though. But what I need to do is, let's see. I don't want to put it in that fstab file. Let's see. Okay, I just need to make a text file then. That's all there is to it. Alright, I'm just going to open this up. Glad I just had a feeling that's the way I wanted to do it. I had no clue why I was leaving it plugged in here. Okay. Again, it will not. I cannot figure out how to set the default bigger. 8TB. Seagate is Seagate, I believe. Okay. I don't know why it brings up all that junk in there. Okay, that is, yeah, dev. I think I can copy that in there. Yeah. There we go. Okay. I should probably just put that up there like that. I need to save this before I forget. I think that's really all I need. I'll have to copy some of the other settings from I'm going to make it a text file so that I don't accidentally get for any of this OpenOffice file formatting stuff. Is that? Let's make sure that's 14. I guess it was all along. Didn't look like it. Okay, dev disk by UID. So and so, so and so. Let's go look at. Where is that? I need to look at the fstab file. Dev disk by UID. UID. Mapper. Where is the one that was done like that? There it is. Dev disk by UUID. And then the rest of that, I can set it up the way I need it to be. I'll probably copy this one right here. I might want to put Ext4 though as the make sure it gets that right. Yeah, see, it's earlier I was thinking about that when I was thinking about editing in my machine. Ext4 without capitals. You don't want the capitals. So you can use auto, but since it was saying it couldn't tell what kind of a, and this is a, oh, that's OpenSUSE, but I'll set it up. Let's see, sync, auto, dev, execute, SUID. Yeah, that'll make me be able to read and write it and do everything to it. So, and this one's just longer because it had a longer name, and it was, these are Ext3s. 3s. Well, it has that, all that. Okay, so I guess I can go ahead and do that before I plug the drive in. It would actually probably make it mount up. Yeah, and I can do it, you know, I mean, that's how I was going to do it anyway, but I can copy this and then get to work. Okay, I am in the remote desktop. You might be able to hear the wind blowing. I got the window wide open now because it's finally down to 78.6 degrees. It was 80.5 degrees all day. There we go. And I couldn't stand it. Now, you usually use a tab to beautify it and make it easier to read. Okay, yeah. It's different in that one line. Well, I'm going to do it the way this one is. See, it doesn't say the file system type right after. Oh, yes, it does. Well, I'm going to copy this and then edit it for those zeros. I wonder if that's going to tell it not to check it. Those numbers, that tells it how often to check it. Well, that's probably the zeros is for the default. Oh, great. See what I just did? Good thing there's an undo in there. I'll use, I won't try to right click. Yeah, right clicking on remote desktop sometimes a little tricky. So, yeah, the zeros would be the default, but I want it to check it, but not every time it boots. Now, I want it to be in media. I think I have to make a folder. Yeah, this is how I make it show up as I'm going to copy it from over here on this machine. Let's see. Am I to where I can? Yeah, I'm to where I can. This is what I want right here. I think I can do that right here in properties. I can always change it later, but oh, I can't. 8.0 terabyte volume. I'm going to do that because that's the name it's given it. Let's go. Oh, okay. I can close that now. You see, it's not showing up in the properties. Oh, it's not showing up at all. Okay, I see. Wait. See, it shows it as Seagate expansion drive, though, as soon as you click into it, just like this one, but it doesn't have the same. It needs to be labeled the same way to do it the other way. But, like I said, I'll worry about that later when I get. So, properties. There it is. I thought I could copy it from somewhere. I don't want to get it wrong. That's the thing. I guess I can have a dot in there. I kind of hate. Actually, I don't know if I can have a dot in there. I'd rather have it like that. Did I have a space in that other one? Does the other ones have space? No, I don't have spaces. I don't want volume in there. I'm not going to do that. There, 8 terabyte USB. I'm going to use what I call it because then, and I don't want auto, I want Ext4 for the file system. Yep, Ext4. Now, and then you always want to have an extra empty line at the bottom of a fstab file. Now I can just hit save on that. That I opened up as root, as root user in Crusader, so I'm actually editing that file. And now the rest of those, it took a lot of learning to know what to put in there: sync, auto, dev, so and so, so and so, so and so. And since all the other drives that are on 0, I think that'll be fine. I do notice that that one is 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. But I do think they get checked. I may have to review that. Right now it's not a big deal, but I want to know that it's going to get checked. That's 1, 2, but that was done. No, that is a backup drive. I can't remember what's what. I want it checked every time it boots, but I want it checked often enough to make sure it's healthy, you know, that all the bad sectors are told not to write to and all that stuff. It runs the Linux fixed disk check. I think it's fixed disk, something to do with fixed disk or something. Okay, I think I got that. You can actually, in Fedora 14, you can edit this, leave the file open, and try it out and see if it works. You don't have to reboot or anything. I was saying something about having to reboot yesterday, but I actually don't. As a matter of fact, I'll leave it like that and do it. I should be able to. I think when I plug it in, it'll mount it. I do think I have to make the folder, though, over there in, pretty sure I have to go to media and make that. Did it again. You can't right. Well, I think what it is mostly is my finger is slipping and letting go of the right click. Okay, 8 terabyte USB drive. Okay. Now, we're going to go to, where am I? Close that. It gets confusing. That's why I go ahead and make this full screen every chance I get. Okay, now I can just click around to my other places. Oh yeah, and if you want to make a, if you go to media, if you want to make, yeah, I believe you have to make the folder, I'm almost certain. But if you want to make a folder in the media, you have to create new folder. You have to be at Crusader root mode. I could just say USB, oh yeah. 8 terabyte USB drive. I usually call them backup. That's what I usually call them. It is going to be backup, so let's call it backup. I'll change it over there in the fstab file. BACKUP. 8 terabyte USB backup. That is a name I can stick with. Yeah, it'll be empty. Like that one just stays empty. That's only, that one part image is only for when I use Clonezilla. That's a folder I can write to from the network or anything. Okay. 8 terabyte USB backup. We'll paste that in there instead. I think I forgot to make it a tab. I mean, it doesn't matter, but it makes it easier to read if you put a tab in there instead of just a space. It will work with a space, but it's pretty hard to read this file and find the different points in it. 8 terabyte USB backup. And see, you can make that part up where you want it to mount. Well, you need to mount it in a mountable folder. It's really going to need to be either media or, well, the best places in the older Fedora is media or mount. Like I said, I decided media was better because I think it's less picky. I think actually if you try to do it in mount, you have to be a root user to do it in there. But the regular user can mount stuff in media, if I remember right. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Okay, so I'm going to leave those just like they are. And I think that's going to work. Unless I'm going to have to name that exactly like, you know, 8 terabyte, 8 dot terabyte dot so and so. I don't think so from what I remember. I think I gave those whatever names I wanted for those mount folders and everything. That's actually just a mount folder. It may, let's see, when you get in there, let's go into that one. When you get in there, you're just into the folders. So, yeah, that should just be what I'm wanting. Some of those are drives, and some of them are actually just partitions on drives. Which one was that? Oh, it tried to mount it because I have it turned on to do that. Yeah, I can't mount it because it's not there. See, it already tried to work because I had it. I have it in fstab. So it's already trying. I hope that didn't hang things up. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and unmount it. And then I will get over here and I'll go ahead and go to camera 2, I guess. I'm zoomed in on the monitor, but that will get off the SM58. But at least you can you can tell what I'm doing. And you can hear me because I'll get on the wireless mic where I can move around and everything. I like to just leave it on the monitor because that's the thing I do a lot, you know, is want to show that monitor when I'm trying to do things that can't be done. See, yeah, I unmounted that just now. Okay, good. Okay, get that. Weave it through in such a way that it doesn't get hung up on that microphone. That's a little tricky there. And plug it in the back of this little jewel. Yeah. Can't plug it in the front, the mic would hit it. There's two SM58s. The SM58 would hit it. There are two USB connectors in the front of this machine, but well, the SM58 wouldn't hit it, but the mic stand would. My upside down mic stand that I use for the SM58. Okay, now I don't get the joy of seeing it mount if it's going to, but that's just life sometimes. Because I just can't move any faster than that. I guess I could have left it where that's all you saw the whole time, but if it's there, it'll be just as much joy. Okay. If it's not, it'll be just as much aggravation as it was a while ago. Okay, let's get on back on the SM58. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to look on the desktop and see if it shows up mounted before I go trying to go to it. I don't see it. Well, it may not. Oh, it wouldn't auto mount, I don't think. But if I try to go to it in Crusader, it should mount it. I just remembered that. It would on Fedora 29, 28, and 29, or even 23, or I don't know how. Yeah, I don't see it there. Let's see. Well, let's just see. I'm in a Crusader root mode, so that has the privileges to be able to mount it. Right now, I just want to see if it will do it. Let's see. Exit code helper. Uh-oh. It's the same exact thing as before. Missing code page or helper program. I'm starting to wonder why I could run that program. Let's run this as root and see, but let's go ahead and see if we can open up a terminal here. Oh, I have to get out of that message. Dmesg straight up and down line tail. I don't know if that's going to stay on my clipboard or not. I guess I should get out of well, let's just go ahead and do that. It doesn't matter where you're at, really. Oh, it did work. Okay, so simming drive cache right through. Let's see, Ext4 didn't mount read write because of unsupported optional features. What are those? ABC denied. Again, maybe it's actually been all about, because it is a USB drive, and you know, Fedora 14 mounts USB drives automatically. It could be that it really is an SE Linux problem, but I'm not getting an SE Linux alert though. Okay, wait a minute. Is there some more? It's like it tried again a couple of times or something. See if it's any different. Unsupported optional features. What are they? Is it something I left in the copied from the other? If I do defaults, it won't be writable, I don't think, in the fstab file. Let's see. I'm going to save that. Not there, though. Trying to go to. Now, if you go home in this instance, you're going to be in the root directory, so I really want it in the. All I see is on my back. Well, I see drives, but I don't know which one is which. I see Seagate in there. Okay, it just sees it, but that doesn't mean it can go to it. Anyway, that's the root home folder, not the home folder. It's odd how they did that. It makes it confusing. I don't see what I'm looking for. I could put it in there. Oh, that's actual backups and stuff. Okay. I'm wanting to be able to find it again, you know, when I want to find it. I guess that's still the best place to put it. Okay, at least I'll have that if I need it. If I can, it's not a good place for me to find it easily, but that'll. Okay, so I'm not done yet, and I'm not sure. I copied it from the other one that was mounted this by UUID, so I don't have any syntax errors or anything in there. But you know, it's the same message as before I did this, so. Maybe again, I guess I'll just go ahead and reboot this system and see if it'll automatically mount, you know. And I did change it from from auto to Ext4. It could be possible that auto is the only thing that will work. It's kind of weird how sometimes that stuff happens. I don't know why it has sync auto. It has auto in there twice in that line. That line works, so. See, these are all just set on defaults, and that's actually fine for the operating system ones, and well, it works fine. Oh, these, they're not, yeah. These are the operating system ones. These are partitions, and these are my backup drives. They need to be like they are to be able to write to them. So, I'm going to try putting auto in there and see. Like I said, you can edit this thing live, just save it, and then it will change what you get, and what it tries to do. That's what I remember anyway. Okay, no, same problem. So, I'm going to put it back on Ext4. What happened? KDE crash handler. K notifies close unexpectedly. Okay, at least it wasn't this application. Yeah, Ext4. This one looks like it has a space instead of a tab there. So I'll do a tab just to make it. I think the other one is like that. I think I use spaces just to keep the line from being extra long. Let's see. Yeah, I did. It doesn't matter. But it is more jumbled up and harder to read amongst all that. See, like all those, you notice I worked really hard to get them all in a row, so it's like columns. But as they got longer, it just became not much help, so I quit doing it as the lines got longer. Okay, so I don't think there's anything in here that I could change to make it any better. May have it may be that this Ext4 on here is newer than those other. I know it's newer, the version, and it may not. I hope that Fedora 14 can mount it. Yeah, this one's not lined up. See, those zeros are not lined up because it has extra space or something. Anyway, I'm not going to mess with it. It worked. Those work. I'm not messing with them. All right, so what I'm going to do is reboot the system and hope that it mounts. I want to see something here while I'm thinking about it. Run. Yeah, there's not even a run folder. See, you know, run user. Isn't it run? I think so. Let's go back where I was in case I need to fstab again. Unable to mount it. Okay. I'm afraid that since I'm getting the exact same errors, that I haven't done anything that's going to help. That's what I'm afraid of. Okay, so yeah, this time I'll switch to camera and then get on the and I'll get on the machine itself. I had to think which spot I needed to be on the switch. Oh yeah. I have to change the monitor too. It's on DVI. Okay, so now I'll reboot it from here, and then, you know, once the camera catches up to where I'm at, be able to watch. Oh, that's a pretty picture. I got some really pretty desktop backgrounds on there. That's not it. I'm looking at my preview. That's the pretty one right there. Okay, so gonna restart. And we'll see if it mounts it up. I might have to start doing research or something now. I already did that. I thought I did enough to know what I could do. And I know it's occurred to me a few times, you know, like maybe the older system wouldn't mount it, but I don't think it did right while I was doing the formatting and all that stuff. Oh, great. Just what I was saying about the cable not getting hung up on that USB. It was hung up big time. And see, the thing is it was pulling on it. Let me make sure it didn't pull it loose from the drive. That's exactly what I was worried about. No, it's good. Luckily, I guess it was a good forethought. I wasn't sure if it was a good idea or not. Go ahead and put that in the terminal. I have some strain relief on it right before it goes into the. I have a. Well, it's a cable hanger. Well, it's like a zip tie, but it's reusable, and it came with some product or something. And I hooked it up to my rack, my computer rack. Let me log in. And I've been running, and I left a big loop, and I run cable cert when I want to, you know, to keep them from getting, keep them away from the mic and just keep them from getting in, keep them bunched up, you know. But anyway, I had it run through there, so that's what kept it from pulling it out of the drive, I think, because it was really tight. The thing that you tighten, this is a boom mic stand, but it's upside down anyway. The little handle that you tighten it with, it had a hold of it and was pulling on it. I thought I had it routed behind it, but it got back a hold of it. No matter which way I go, there's always something that might get a hold of my cables. But on the other side of the computer, I have a light that's on a boom that you can move around. And I don't get it out real often, but when I do, you know, if there's any wires going near it, it could get a hold of it because it's on it moves, you know, it's got spring. You've seen those lights with the springs and you can move it all over the place. Okay, so it's rebooted. I don't see it mounted there. Usually it's at the end of all my desktop icons. I just see the normal ones that I usually have. So I guess I'll just that's my old '54 Chevy. Of course it's a little made up picture of it wrecking into itself after someone backed into that door. But I had that for 15 years or so. Spent most of its time in the backyard though. It ran. I just well, it was out of the way. It didn't take up space in the driveway. So and I didn't drive it real often. But anyway, yeah, I sold it finally after I bought it in 1992, and I sold it about 5 or 8 years ago. Anyway, it was a cool car, really cool. Of course, when I got it, I always hoped to end up putting a big block in it and all that kind of stuff. It had a straight 6 in it, but anyway, I sold it to an old friend. He was going to fix it up. It did not have a dent in the door when I got it. It was painted up to look like the Beatles' Yellow Submarine. It even had a scope made out of PVC pipe on the top, and it was actually fixed up by it was called Q102, a radio station in Dallas back in the late 80s, early 90s. It was fixed up to promote a Paul McCartney concert, and I guess I don't know when the concert was. I don't remember, but I found it in a car lot in Dallas for good price because it was a 4-door. The guy had a bunch of cool cars like that, and it was a good price because it was a 4-door, and they weren't as popular. They're beginning to kind of people. These cars are getting less common. They're harder to find these days. So even the 4-doors are becoming popular now. But anyway, that was my car. I want to get back on the remote desktop so that I can actually show what I'm doing. I guess I was hitting the wrong button. I was trying to switch the monitor, back to this machine. I had it on this machine. I'm tired. Can't say what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I guess so, because I woke up at 2 this morning. It's 2 in the afternoon now, so that's usually about the time I get tired after I've been up for 12 hours. So there's the '54 Chevy. The picture's a little better like that. That was taken with a film camera and scanned, I think. That was before I had it. That was before digital cameras were even common, right before. But anyway, just same picture, merged together. And I never had Photoshop. I used Paint Shop Pro, I think is what it was. But anyway, point of this is to try to get that hard drive working. So I think I clicked on Crusader. Oh yeah, I can open it. Well, it didn't matter before. I could open up Gparted or whatever, and you still couldn't mount it. I guess I'll have to look. Must have missed it. Either that or it's taking too long to get. Oh, I did just now reboot. No, I think I missed it. Oh, we've got an error up there. Let's look at this error. That could be, that's probably from that fstab. Go ahead and get in another window so that we won't have to. And that's a cool car, but somehow I accidentally got things that weren't regular pictures in my bookmarks folder. Yeah, this is a boot error. That's what Fedora 14 did. It was really handy. If there was any boot errors, it would pop up that little triangle, and then you could go through them. fstab swaps failed. Oh no, something else. I guess there it is. Mounting a local file system. Okay, this is it. Mounting a local file system. Wrong file system type. Bad option. Bad superblock. Same exact error. missing code page or helper program or other error, in some cases useful info. Copy. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Google that, or at least I'll Google all of it if I can. Used to, you could Google stuff that was like a couple of paragraphs long, but you can't do that anymore. They won't let you. Yeah, so if you have any big errors, then, oh, it tried it again. So it's got it in there twice. But yeah, see, that's the only error in the whole boot thing. I'm going to leave that where it is. So since that's the same thing, I don't think there's any chance. I'll try anyway, but I don't think there's any chance it's going to mount. But if I go to media, now see, I was trying to do it as, oh, it's on the top now because it's the newest. Okay, it just goes in there but doesn't do anything. Yeah, and if as root, it would go ahead and try to mount it, and it would give you that error. But as a regular user, it just goes in there and doesn't do anything. That's why I was kind of surprised a while ago. And if it's already mounted, then you see the files. So let's get out of here, and luckily you can copy and paste between between your local and remote machines. So at least I know I can copy on this machine and paste to the remote machine, but I think you can go either way. But I'll definitely do my searches on here, and I'm afraid that I'm going to have to research. I thought I was figuring it out. I'm afraid that my fears from the beginning are that Fedora 14 actually might not support. I can't install anything new on it because the repos are moved to the the repos are gone in Fedora 14. There are archives of them, but yeah, it searched it. Guess I should have put Fedora. Let's just look. This is all Ubuntu. See what that says before I take off to can't mount VFS, can't find ext. Systemd unmounts manual mounts when it has failed. It's the exact same error that I don't understand why it's in GitHub. Dirty Ext4 File System. So maybe it really didn't get formatted cleanly somehow. It says it's dirty. That's 2011. Broken. See that usually means something's broken, but since it's not giving any error, I don't think it's broken. I think it's just too new for Fedora 14. Let's see. FS2. NFS server. I don't have an NFS server. Let's see. Let's go ahead and put 14. We need to narrow this down. That still says Ubuntu, and that's not going to be. (2008). Looks like there was a bug. Is this? Yeah, Red Hat. Okay. Fedora 8. This is even before. Changing fuse black BLK to NTFS3G. Yeah, but this is NTFS file system. That was stuff I used to have to. I had to always install NTFS3G and all that stuff. That's bringing back memories. But yeah, this is all about NTFS. Okay. Try adding Ext4 to that. Now we're getting something a little different. This is 2011. So that might be old enough to be about Fedora 14. We'll see. Let's get down to the bottom here and just see. Okay, let's see. That's a FAT32. Let's see. FSCK Ext4. Okay, we're getting into a can of worms here. I mean, this is an empty drive except for a few files I put on. I can reformat it again, but I don't see the point when the last time I did it right and it said it worked. And it works perfectly on my newer machine. Yeah, E2FS progs wrongly identifies Ext4 as mounted. EFT progs, I think that, let's see, what is that? Let's see what that's about. Let's see. Well, that's all Ubuntu stuff. fsck.ext4 fsdu1 fsck. That's what you run to fix Linux file systems, not fix disk. Always forget the names of everything. And E2FS progs, that's can't remember exactly what it is, but it's to do with all that. Oh yeah, you install that and then you'll have the programs. Those are the programs you need, like a group. I think it's a program group actually. Anyway, I guess that particular one is a program, but okay. So I'm not seeing. I think I'll just put these in my file systems folder because they may be useful at some point. What What I'm thinking though is this would probably be a way out there thing. Is like find the version of Ext4 what it is today, and say mount, search for mount Ext4 and for 14, because I think I mean, I don't know what the version is. I saw it earlier, but I just want to see what came up. That page doesn't seem like it's gonna come up. We'll try to go to it one more time. That's a docs before. Well, that's the old. I think. Yeah, it's an old one. This is explaining how to do that in fstab, I guess. Doesn't say fstab. Okay, this is just mounting it in the command line. But it's very similar to what you put in. Well, of course, you don't put mount in there, but let's see. Version at boot. That's 2011 too. Okay, now this looks like an yeah, this is the fstab file. I think. Actually, what he had might have been something a little different. It looks like one, but yeah, here you go. See, just like I did it, UUID. Now you can just do defaults, but now I could try defaults, I suppose, just to see if it would mount, because I have all the things that I mean, it's throwing me back and forth, that's for sure, because I don't know if that's actually going to help me any, but it's throwing me back and forth because I don't think I have the I guess I'll have to go back into Crusader root mode again so I can do what I need to do. Yeah, I'm seeing that things are quite a bit different in the newer versions, though. Looking at my fstab file in Fedora 28 and then looking at it in Fedora 14. But yeah, I could just put, the way I've set it up, Ext4 and then put defaults. I guess I'll try that. And then just see if it mounts. And then if after that I can try to work, if it does, then I can try to work out how to, instead of trying to spell defaults right, I'm going to copy it. I mean, trying to give myself a chance to mess up, I'm going to. Why does it have spaces there? Let's use a tab. I don't think the spaces would hurt, but in case. Actually, I know they won't hurt. Okay, now let's see what happens when I do it by defaults. Let's go ahead and get it. Well, I'll leave them both open. I might need them both. Okay, now where is it? 8 terabyte. Nope. No good. All right. What else can I do? I'm beginning to. I think I will put that all back like it was. And I'll just comment that line out. We don't want it trying to mount that drive if it's. But I might end up needing it. But I don't. Kind of thinking I may not really ever need it if the drive was mountable in Fedora 14. Since it's a USB drive, I think maybe it would just mount like it should. So I saved it. I tried the auto, didn't I? Yeah, I tried the auto. I tried the Ext4. And I think I had to use auto on that other one for some reason. That OpenSUSE drive. I think it was actually might have been an LVM. I think that might have been it. It was inside of an LVM. And auto worked, I think. Okay, so doesn't really matter where I go in there. Yeah, when you open Crusader root mode, you know, like I've been doing it from within regular Crusader, it opens it up in whatever folders you're already in. I'm going to leave all that just like it is for now. Could end up being useful. How many screenshots do I have? All those screenshots use up memory, so I always close them, and then I usually just close that app too. Did I ever stop that? I never stopped that from indexing. I can hear it, the fan running. I guess that's why. Okay, so yeah, it's not mounted, so I can't unplug it. Or actually, do I want to right now? Well, I do if I want to reformat it or anything over here. What do I want to do? I'm gonna leave it like it is right now. That's a Hubble space picture. I just really like having that stuff change. It's just nice to have all kinds of different pictures changes, like a little slideshow to catch my eye here and there while I'm working. Okay. Well, I guess I'll look a little more. What's this? Another Red Hat. That's Red Hat. Well, let's look at it. That's the standard. I don't think it will, will do any help really to try these commands. I've got the GUIs that could mount it if it would mount. The Crusader will mount it if it would work. This looks like it could be useful though. It's explaining how the difference between Ext2 and 3 and 4, and it's saying there are some new things. Oh, I see. By default, Ext4 uses write barriers to ensure file system integrity even when power is lost. See, I thought it did things like that better to a device with write caches enabled. For devices without write caches or with battery-backed write caches, you should disable barriers using no barrier option. Now, that might make it mount on that system. I don't know. Stripe value. Well, that's got to do with RAID, so Stripe. All right, now we could try this. Oh. Actually, why don't I try it without the no barrier? Okay. Oh, mount. All you have to do is put mount in front of What was in my fstab file, really? Well, you don't need all that extra stuff. You need to just tell it where to mount. I didn't look at the one I saw before, you know, it was the Fedora one. I didn't really pay attention. Probably should look at Fedora because that is Red Hat and there can be differences. That you've been to. Using Fuse? Oh, that might be. Adding a new disk to Fedora-like system. That looks like Wikipedia, doesn't it? Okay. Purchase? Okay, yeah, I'm going to buy some instructions for open source project. Right. From who the heck are you? Yeah, I kind of remember that. When Fuse was really new, you had, you know, it might not be so great. You could lose, data could be lost and stuff like that. And well, let's see, what was it? Yeah, for a while there. This is wait. How old is this? This was like before, way before Fedora 14 when Fuse, that says 2012, I guess. But I'm thinking like Fedora 5, 6, and 7, like that, when you could, Fuse advised you to only use read only. Don't try to write to an NTFS partition. Now, I guess this transfers over to Ext4s too. I don't know. Yeah, I remember using Fuse for NTFS partitions. Not when Fedora 14. Obviously, you saw that it half of its partitions are actually I think all of its partitions were in the file system were Ext4. Now I can't even remember. Yeah, the only ones that weren't were the ones I added, and I think I must have done Ext3 because I probably had some kind of problem like this trying to, or some, I don't know. I guess I never figured it out. To make them read and write and world read and writable, like I'm trying to do. Okay, so let's go back in there and look at some of my links. Because there is one. Let's see. I think I will keep my search results and put it there. Okay, I remember what it was now. It was the Fedora docs. Yeah, this is Fedora. That's Fedora 14 too, so that's good. All right, now, so if we want to mount device, mount point, that's it. Okay, Ext4 system supports several mount options for influence and behavior. For example, enables access control, write barriers, like I was reading about a while ago, mounting Ext3 file system as Ext4. Huh, why would you want to do that? Allowing to be Ext3 again in the future. That's odd. I guess it was a benefit at the time. Tune to FS utility allows administrator to set default mount options in the file system superblock. For more information, refer to man tune to FS. Oh yeah, I used that before. I don't know. That's a whole nother thing, I think. But yeah, that's part of what you need to check and fix file systems. So in the terminal. Like especially if you're broken and you're trying to fix it. Well, some of it will run automatically. That's what those those O's at the end, ones and twos and O's at the end of the fstab file where line syntax was about. I don't know what ACL parameter that enables access to control list. While the user XATT, now that's permissions, but I don't know, forgot what all that stands for. Enables extended attributes, enable both options, use their respective parameters. I don't really understand that. I mean, it is possible you could mount point. Okay, I guess I should try that. Manually mounting it before I say it can't be done, The easiest way to do that, I think, is to go here. when that gets opened up. Getting situated. Okay, yeah, while that was opening up, I had to readjust and get situated. Get situated. Okay. So, yeah, if you're regular user, it doesn't try to mount it. But if it's mounted, you can use it. So if I get into super user root mode, then I can do root super user actions. And let's see, it's not doing anything this time. Huh? Doesn't even try to mount it this time. Oh, because I took it out of fstab. That's why. Right. That's how come it's not doing anything now. Okay, but what I was thinking is I'll get in this folder. First I got to get into fstab again though. Open up fstab. I'm going to just copy all this except for only the parts that I actually need. Let's see. Let's go back over to my instructions. Just the mount point. Okay. So I don't want all the permission stuff and all that. I just want that. And I'll just go ahead and copy all that. And let's go back to where I want to work. I'm going to get in here and open up a terminal right there as root. Mount. Paste all that in there. But I need to get rid of that comment, that number sign that commented it out. It was, that I didn't, I got it. I didn't want to get that, but I got that. Now let's see if I need a trailing forward slash at the end of all that. I keep doing that because it's easier to read stuff in there, but it's no trailing forward slash. Okay. So we should be good there. Can't find. Oh, I guess I'm going to have to put that etc back in there. It has to be in there. Okay. Get rid of that. Now. Go back to that same. I just hit the up arrow key and it puts that last command in there. Can't find it. Do I have it plugged in here? I could be confused. Where's it plugged in? Yeah, it's plugged in. It says it can't find it. Can't find disk value ID and etc fstab. But I just made sure it was in there. Did I hit save? Can't find it. Well, I don't think that would make it work anyway, but there we go. See, it tried to mount it. So that's all set. You know, it's back to set up. I don't know what's wrong in my syntax here. I must have one thing wrong that's got it not working. Okay, maybe I do need the forward. Nope, the extra slash doesn't make it work. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and I could go on forever messing around with that. So I'm not gonna fool with that. I didn't expect it to work anyway. If it won't work like this, I'm almost certain it wouldn't mount by the commands either, because that's what that's doing, is the GUI is sending those mount commands out. So again, we'll just actually, I guess I can go ahead and undo that work and save that without leave it in there in case I decide to use it later. That's what I did with some of those others. But the nice thing about having a folder like that in there, though, is you can, and putting it in fstab like that, you can make that always mount right there. Just thought of something. Oh, there's mount. See, when in mount you got boot and home. I think those are in. I don't guess I put those in there. I think they're in there. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing anything in there, but I like media because it keeps those separate, for one thing. But I think, like I said, I think it was more about permissions than anything. So I don't know. It could be that since I kept trying when I tried to mount it with via sftab with the GUI and Crusader, it saw it. It was in the right. Everything was set right. Just can't do it because of the little error. I've already forgot what it said now, but I should have saved all that real whole line to put in there, but that's all right. I was just thinking about that error and what it really said, and if maybe change my searches to something that. Where did I get that error from? Oh yeah, I saved it in the root folder. I knew when I closed that I'd need it again. Oh, can't open that up yet. That's not even finished loading yet. I hate to admit it, but I think I'm starting to crash and burn. What is it I need now? Action you requested needs root privileges. Oh yeah, because it came up. I was like, that shouldn't be asking for root privileges, but it did because it still responded to my request to open it up Crusader root mode. So if I go to roots home directory and get that file out of there, there it is. Go to, oops. Where am I? Oh, I see. Now what I'm going to do is copy that over there, and then I'm going to have to change the permissions or I won't even be able to open the darn thing. That's when you save it from root. See, I was able to do all that because I'm in Crusader root mode. See, it belongs to root, so I'm going to make it Dawn's and do it just like that. Okay, now I should be able to open it up. Okay. Unsupported optional features. ABC denied. See about that. All right, well, let's look for that. That's the main crux of the error. I just realized there's also the first one I saved. It's the same error. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Or is it? Seems like there's something different about it. Yeah, it doesn't. This one. One of them has like another retry or something. I don't know. Or maybe the error's been. I was running that command. I guess it's the same error. It's like it's a log file we're looking at here. So it's just both times that it happened. I think is what it is. Yeah. Okay, so I think if I do Fedora 14 and then do that, maybe it'll narrow me down. Hopefully. Read and write because of unsupported optional features. This is Android from an SD card. Okay. How funny. Different versions, formatter make to make FS Ext4 and the mounter you have two options. Either you have to upgrade the mounter program using newer distro, side SD card, or you have to backup files, reformat SD card with the same distro, the same Ext4 versions you're doing mounting, and after reformatting, copy the files again to the SD card. So it's kind of, yeah, kind of what I was thinking. It's a whole different subject, but yeah, files. Take care with original. So that's actually, let's see. Oh, it's a new metadata. See some, I guess, checksum feature. This feature is enabled, and old tools are used to mount the file stuff, and they will only be able to mount read only. So yeah, I think I'm stuck. It's what I feared the worst. Fedora 14 is just doesn't support the newer Ext4 features. To create it without this feature, and I don't want that. If I'm going to use the Ext4, I want those new features because that's going to protect my data better. Now, one thing I could do is, of course, I can leave it plugged in to this system and only access it over the network, or I can put it in a backup server and access it over the network. And actually, that shouldn't be so bad now that I have 2 gigabit routers, a gigabit switch. I don't have very many, Cat5e cables. I don't think I have any Cat6, but that's, there's not that much difference in speed. I actually do have some Cat6 cable in the garage. Maybe that's what I'm going to have to do. When I was an installer in 2000 in telcos, installing equipment in telcos and wiring in telcos, we used, I think we had like, the cable I have in the garage is 10 or 25 pairs of Cat6 cable that we used, and it's scraps. And it was scraps that they were going to throw away, and I saved them. And anything under like 40 feet long, they threw away. So I've got stuff that are 25 feet long, 35 feet long, and stuff like that. And of course, I have to make up my own cables, put ends on them, and everything. And I actually found out recently, I didn't realize that Cat5 and Cat6 actually uses. Cat6 uses, well, a different. I think it uses one or two more. Yeah, it uses one or two more of the wires. See, there's, a certain amount of pins in the connector, the Ethernet connector, the RJ45 connector, and they're not, I think on Cat5 they're just not all used. Well, they could be wired, but they're not all used. Even if they're wired up, they're not all used. But there's more, the Cat5 and Cat6 cable, there's actually a real difference in the cable itself. It's not just how many wires are in there or anything. So I'm not going to go into all that. I've read about it and pretty well understand it. But anyway, I like to read about cables. I know that's pretty dorky, but pretty geeky, but I like to read about them. And there's a cable install magazine that I read, I get the email version of it. So anyway, yeah, I could actually make, I could buy some cable ends. I've got the tools to crimp them and everything. I could buy some RJ45, and I could actually, was surely neaten things up in here. I think there would be, it'd be a lot of work, but I could make all Cat6 cables going between my stuff here. It'd be a little tricky because, they're bundled, and so you can't just unwrap them. I mean, what you can do is like strip back the insulation for about a foot or two. Excuse me, I wouldn't probably go further than a foot or two at the most, because you don't have the shielding. Probably shouldn't go that far. Anyway, so that you could, reach other machines. But like the machines in my rack are all within a foot of each other. They're all next to each other. A foot would do it. And then the ones up here on the desk, well, they're about 3 feet apart. So that would be different. But the routers are all, well, I don't know why I'm going into that. Anyway, I used to do I used to do everything over the network, because back years ago, 100 megabits was fast enough for everything, because there wasn't anything any faster. And I used to set up SSH and on all my machines, and I would SFTP between everything. It was really convenient. All I had to do is just type in the command line. I mean, not in the command line, in Crusader. And I showed that yesterday, how the old Crusader would do SFTP and the new one won't. But I can use FileZilla and some other programs. And Lucky Backup will do remote backups. Once you get, it's a pain to set it up, but once you get it set up, I think you have to set up a key, public and private keys and all that stuff, but to get it to work. But anyway, now that now that I have getting up towards the gigabit, well, and I've got, of course, I don't have gigabit cards and everything, but I bought 3, and they just got here the other day, yesterday, and I'm going to have to get them out and test them and make sure they all work and everything. But in case if they don't, I can send them back. If they're broken, when you get them, you can send them back for free on Amazon. So I will definitely do it if they don't work. One of them's bent. They sent them in a bag. They didn't protect them at all. One of them's actually the mounting bracket's bent. I can't believe it. I should have known not to open that bag at all until was on video. But I cut it open and pulled them out, and I thought, oh, crap. So anyway, I will have should have 3 gigabit PCI cards. So yeah, I really wasn't. And then that's something that's bringing me back to the thing of even though I made this Ext4 and I'm not as worried about it breaking, I still don't like. I noticed I can't stand how that USB, that proprietary USB, gets loose and starts wanting to just fall out. And I just need to get the camera over there and show how loose the 2-year-old one is compared to the brand new one. It is not, and it didn't take very long for it to start loosening up. Just from, like I said, normal usage of just sitting there in my computer rack, and only thing I ever did was I never unplugged the end compared or dangled the cable, in a harsh way. I mean, it's hanging down. I don't have it zip tied to, I tried to think of a way to secure it, but it's a real hard place to try to secure it to that little box, the way it's made. I'll just have to show all that, I guess, maybe. Anyway, I could secure it to the rack easily, but that's kind of how I have the new one right now. It's kind of got some strain relief the way it is, but that's as long as you never bump or touch the box. Well, I really don't hardly ever touch the boxes. Sometimes I move them by accident when I'm just trying to check and make sure they're plugged in tight. You have to push down on the top of the boxes and hold them still. If you forget to do that, then the whole thing is light and it'll move. Anyway, okay, so the new Ext4 is not going to work on Fedora 14. That's it. Oddly enough, I don't know. Like those ones about, well, I don't like reading the ones about Ubuntu because it is based on Debian. And, well, for number one, it's based on Debian, and it's very different how you work with Debian and the commands and all the stuff. And just where the things are in the file system, just so much of it's different, even though they're both Linux, Debian and Fedora. But then the other thing is Ubuntu, they've added all their own little tweaks and twogs and mess-ups on it. And it's a pain in the butt. From the day one that I discovered I called it Ubuntu. I just started like in Ubuntu 4 or so, trying it out, because I used to love trying out all the new Linux distros that I found out about, and it was never anything but a headache. It seemed interesting because there was all different versions that came prepackaged with lots of software, and I liked that. And but I never saw a Ubuntu version that would update automatic, that would run updates without hanging up and you having to go read stuff and look at stuff up and find the commands and do things in the command line. And I tried a few times and I just got aggravated and quit messing with it. And so, and then Artist X is the Bane. Artist X is a multimedia remix of the Bane originally. And I discovered it the first year. It was the Bane 4 Etch&a-Half. It was the Bane 4.5 basically, and they told you, that's how I learned how to make install scripts. They told you how to install all the apps together on that Etch&a-Half, and I built it. And I built it out of a basic Bane, and then you built it up to Artist X, and for a while, for the first couple of years, it was on Bane, and then they decided to use Ubuntu. And I liked all the apps in Artist X. I didn't use them all, but I liked a bunch of them. Discovered apps I'd never heard of, and audio video. I love audio video stuff, so that's how I discovered Jack, the audio interface. And anyway, I tried it on the Ubuntu version when it came out, and I just couldn't stand it. It's actually on the Fedora 14 system still, one of the versions. And I put it on there thinking, well, I might use it once in a while. At least it's, it's all set up and ready to go, but it would never update. Same old thing. Like I said, well, maybe the first couple of versions would have updated. Actually, I didn't install. I don't think I ever actually installed it, or if I did, I didn't leave it until then. So it was around the Bane 5 or so, or 6 when it would be, the equivalent Ubuntu with Artist X Remix. It's on, like I said, on the Fedora. It's on the Red Black Battlestar. And it was such a pain to keep up, or I couldn't get it to update. If it can't get them to update, then the bugs don't get fixed. It gets like this, things won't work anymore with newer software and all that. So, yeah. I'm trying to see. How am I going to make sure I show that this one? Yeah, that's it right there in the crux of everything. See if I can. I think I'll put it at the beginning of this, although it doesn't probably make a lot of. Anyway, there we go. Of course, that is just one answer, but let's look at this one, because is that the one I was thinking that I might want to look at? That one says it's solved. Let's look and see. Yeah, there's more. Let's don't give up completely just yet. That's Fedora. Well, no, it's just that Linux questions. But it looks just like the Fedora form. It's all the colors and the layout. Ext2FS, Ext4, Slackware. And that's Slackware though. That's not Fedora. I've never used Slackware. Well, I've used a live system. Well, that doesn't that's completely different. He said that answer he got there was if you that you can ignore it, but if you want to get rid of it, you can root fs type Ext4 to pin line of the etc lilo config. See, that's in Slackware, so it's different. Lilo is a bootloader, I think. Yeah, Lilo is a bootloader. So this was an error. Probably Ext2 and 3 before Ext4. Yeah, that's the bootloader. That's kind of a different thing anyway. Cleared it with older tools. Yeah, I don't want to do that. So this is kind of saying the same thing I saw in that other one. Or remove the features it does not support. Tune to FS. Okay. Yeah, there's no way I would try to remove them, but there's somebody that's doing it, telling you how to do it. Okay, so I always had that in the, well, at some, I forgot it, I think, but there was times when this problem did occur to me ahead of time. I just didn't think about it for very long and then forgot about it. Well, you may have figured out that I forget things pretty easily. I go back and forth. Sometimes my mind locks in and it works pretty good, and then sometimes it just forgets and forgets. But what are we doing now? Oh, we're back on my, what did I do? Did I close? I guess I closed was talking while I was doing. Yeah, I'm back on my main system. I closed the remote desktop evidently without even realizing that's what I was doing. Let's go back in it and see what I have running on that thing. That's you know, my web server right now until I get my new one set up. So I need to know what's running on it and what I want. What I want to, you know, what I want to have run. I don't want anything running on it. You know, yeah. What I was trying to do, I'll see what I did now. I was trying to close programs. Yes, I know. I'm trying to control it. Get out of my way. Dang it. Yeah, I was trying to close all these extra programs. And so the drive's not mounted, so I can go over there and unplug it. Let's go ahead and look at the system resource and see how it looks. Oh yeah, Vino. I'll have to disable Vino. I guess I could just, what I could do is turn off Vino and it would disconnect me. I don't know if that would be could be might cause some kind of error though, so I won't do that. Right now it's running fine though. Yeah, Vino is the remote desktop server, VNC server that I'm using on the Fedora 14. But I usually turn it off so it won't, because it tends to start using up resources for some reason. Okay. Now, yeah, it doesn't need to be plugged into that machine anymore. I guess I'll close this. Let's go to video so I can make sure and check that once in a while. See, okay, that's my backup drive. Okay. I ended up getting quite a bit open. Leave that for a minute here. Okay. So, I've got It's actually cooling off in here now. It's still 78.3, but the air is cool and it's breezy outside. I have my, I said I got my window open really wide now, and I'm feeling chilly on my legs, even though it's warm in here. I guess I'll shut that window down a little bit. Let me do it before I forget. Shut it back down to where. Well, I should have opened that wide way earlier when the sun was on me, and I didn't even realize it until it started getting better, until it got really bad. I was getting sick to my stomach. It was so hot. And now it's better, but I still have that queasy feeling, like, that when you're finally getting relief from being sick, heat sick, heat sick to your stomach. I get, I'm involved in what I'm doing, and I don't like distractions, so I won't allow myself to think about other things that bother me, or even if they're bothering me. Yeah, that cable hanger thing is quite helpful to keep me from, when I'm moving this cable around, keep me from yanking that thing out, at least. I've got a twist. I always put twisties on my cable so that I can, wrap them up when I need to. But then they get in a place that I don't like, and it starts bugging me. So I get distracted and I start messing with them. Okay, so oh yeah, there's a bunch of 1, 2, 3. There's 3 USBs. I think I've been hitting different ones every time I plug it in. I'm doing it in the back, It's kind of hard to get to the bottom. Well, the bottom one has there's 3 open USBs. The bottom one has coming from my KVM switch. So I guess I've been hitting the higher ones. But I thought I'd try to, probably put it in the one right next to it in case I need another one. But, okay, I got it in there. Oh. Well, I guess it's not terrible news, but not. And I'm not surprised now that I finally saw something to explain it. I mean, I guess I've been saying how I suspected that it might not be supported on the. Yeah, I have. I'm tired of forgetting what all I've been saying. Yeah, here, so that's why it's fine and dandy in here, but not over there. So yeah, I was thinking, well, if I tried to use some other file system, it will have the same problem. And I looked through. See, I just made me a little folder and put a few of those screenshots in there. This is the standard file manager that I usually don't use, but. Oh, and it's using that same. Oh, yeah, it's because I set it as the default for the system. And I took those screenshots of the errors while I had that little picture open. So, but there's the address of it and everything. That potato, that little doggy potato, puppy potato, or deer, or moose, or whatever it is. That's funny. But. Guess I'm on the desktop again. Oh, I had that little picture. Oh, okay, yeah. So I guess I'll go back to my SM58. Get off of the wireless mic. Okay, so yeah. Shoot, I never know what to do. Sometimes it's best to do research right off the bat. Sometimes you do it forever and ever, and I mean, if you think you got a way you got it in, in your head to figure it out, maybe sometimes you can. Sometimes you can figure it out. It depends. For me, it depends on what I can remember. I think sometimes I remember parts of things. Sometimes I remember a lot, a little bit, a lot. So, yeah, so see, I plugged it back in here. There it is, no problem. And well, I did have to get in a root Crusader mode and give the drive, make it all readable, writable by everyone, you know. So now I can write to it. I couldn't write to it at first in user Dawn. And I think, I'm not quite sure how I would change that now, how it shows up in the system to make it show up, you know, like, I wouldn't want it to just say, right now I don't want it to just say Seagate expansion drive like that one does, the older one, because then it's hard to tell them apart. Well, especially because I want Lucky Backup to keep writing to this one until I get everything figured out the way I want it. But one thing I would need to do is copy everything on here to this one. And I guess I will now, because listen, I'll have to think it through. Yeah, I'm not going to do any more today. I'm too tired. But as far as backing up the Fedora 14 system and all those backup drives to this, well, I can put one of those, I'm pretty sure, unless I got to thinking, those Ethernet cards I bought, I hope they will fit a regular, they're short, really short, very few pins. They may be for the PCIX, you know, I guess they are, and I didn't think about that until I saw them. I may have when I bought them, I don't know, but but what they may work in just because they're short don't mean they won't work in a regular slot. But if they might be slower though, if they're meant, yeah, I don't even know. There might be at least a PCI X1 or whatever, you know. Not, I bet there's a 16X or 32X or whatever it is there are on that. Red Black BioStar, the Fedora 14 system. But I could put, what I was trying to say is I could put one of those in there and have fast Ethernet, and so then I could do the backups. I guess, I don't know, well, you know, that, if I remember right, USB is what? It's USB 2 now. I don't have 3. I don't even know if this Lenovo i5 has USB 3. I don't think it does. I think I looked at the back of it a week or two ago, and it doesn't have any blue connectors back there. So at USB 2, I think it's 450 or 500 megabits. So you see, the Ethernet would be faster. If I could get 800 or 900 megabits, you know, I'd be faster. If I could get 1,000, that'd be great. But I don't think you really get the full, you know, gigabit out of them. From what I've saw when I've seen people talking about it and testing them on the videos. I watched a real interesting video where a guy, he tested Cat 5, Cat 5e, and Cat 6 cables. He had a gigabit Ethernet network set up, and he tested all those cables. And he was saying, you know, when you read all the stuff about them, you know, you must have the right cables and your speed will be terrible, blah, blah, blah. Well, he just said, let's test it and see. And he had it set up where he could test it. And he got a way faster result than he thought he said. He said he thought he would get in way faster than I thought he would get out of the Cat 5 cables. And Cat 5e and Cat 6 were so close, you know, I wouldn't worry about it unless you're enterprise. Like, of course, nowadays Cat 6 cables are, well, they're cheap, but you better watch out because there's so much, they call it counterfeit cables. What they'll do is commonly they will take aluminum wire and coat it with a little copper coating, a very thin copper coating. That does not send the data as fast. That coating will wear off when the cable's been around, you know. I can't remember if they heat up, but I just saw something the other day that I didn't even realize. It was actually a different kind of cable. This was lead cables for multimeters. Someone had bought some cheap ones, and they were surprised to see that the wire inside was steel instead of copper. And they had a lot of resistance, which made them not read right. with your own meters and all that. And then they also would, he said they would heat up when you were using the, I guess just checking voltage and stuff, or maybe he was checking amps. But he said they would actually heat up. And then it dawned on me, my old Radio Shack multimeter that I've had since the 70s still works. It's kind of beat up, but the cables on it, I still use the original. Well, no, the original cables. I got to thinking, I remember them being very, very stiff, and they broke so easy that I got tired of messing with them. And I had some wire that back in those days, I bought several rows of wire, and I'm still using on those. I'm real sparing with my wire. If I've got a good used wire, I'll use it. Well, I'm real sparing with my brand new wire, and so I bought it for wiring cars and trucks and stuff. Of course, it's good for anything that needs that gauge of wire. They're about 12 or 14 gauge wires. Well, I have a couple of different sizes, but anyway, don't have a lot of it left now after all these years. But anyway, I made me some leads. I just took you could just actually, those, you didn't even have to solder them. They had little screws, set screws. You just strip you some wire, stick it in there, and screw it down. And well, on one end, that's fine. On the other end, the one with the longer test leads, I did have to solder them because I soldered them. I don't know if to keep them from falling out or anyway. The original ones, I quit using them because they kept breaking and breaking, and I got to thinking, you know what? I think they used to heat up, and I couldn't believe they'd heated up. And I never did catch. If I caught on that they were steel or something else way back then, I mean, I could have had a magnet near them and figured that out. I don't think I know where they are now, but in the scrap wire bin somewhere. But I have a box full of old wire that's kind of scrap. Well, save for later stuff. Wires that, like say audio wires that I might fix one day, stuff like that, which I probably won't. Anyway, but the one end I think I was just able to use a set screw, the short end that goes into the meter. The longer end with the test leads, I think I had to solder them, or I did one way or the other. But anyway, they keep breaking though, even though they're it's good wire, but it's not. It's a little bit. It's not a lot of strands of wire, and it's pretty thick. Real thin strands of wire with a whole lot of them can be real flexible. You can bend it a lot. Well, this is more stiffer wire that when it gets bent enough times it breaks. So they keep breaking, and so I haven't used a meter in a long time just because of that, because one of the leads just broke off. But and I did notice that they were not the same. I made them longer so it'd be more convenient to work with. And it's but there's a set. Well, you can set the on the ohm meter. There's a little screw you can turn to set it back to 0, and so it's make it read right. So but as far as the voltage goes, I guess I always thought that made everything work right by using that. You set it with I don't remember now what the instructions said, but you put it in ohms and then touch them together and then put it on 0, I think is what you do. And I thought that calibrated the whole meter, but now I'm not so sure. But anyway, I think that thing back in the 70s actually had steel. I think it had steel wire in it. I really do. It just really seemed to ring a bell when I saw somebody saying, "Oh, I can't believe what they sell nowadays," And I thought, well, that's one thing I guess I'm gonna have to concede that maybe they've been doing that for a very long time. And this was in the 70s. I'm saying, well, in the 70s, that's a 10-year span. This was 76 or 77 or maybe 78. No. Somewhere between 75 and 77 is when I got that meter. And at Radio Shack, and I lived in Wichita Falls then. That was right after I got married, and I lived up there for about three years or so. And what I was trying to say is I was trying to remember. I believe see, Radio Shack made their own products back in those days, and they actually, up in the 80s, they built and set up a brand new manufacturing center here in Azle, Texas, where I grew up and where I live now, and they kept making their own products. I don't know when. Of course, they went to Chinese stuff just like everybody else. But they kept making their own products, and most of their stuff was pretty decent. I mean, it wasn't high-end stuff, like pro audio cables and stuff like that, but it was decent. And well, their stereos were nice stereos. I don't know that they made. I don't know what they made here in Azle because I went there once, and when I was laid off from General Dynamics and tried to get a job there, they wouldn't hire me because I didn't have no experience. But they didn't pay nothing anyway. But I actually kind of thought it'd be neat to work there and learn about electronics because I've always liked electronics. But I'm not sure what all they made. They might. I don't think they made the TRS-80s, but they might have made components for the TRS-80s in there, and computers, the Radio Shack computers, which I have one now. I didn't back then. I started to buy one back then, but I decided they were like, it would have cost me $800 to get the whole setup, and I decided that was an awful lot to spend or something I wasn't sure if any of us, me and my kids and wife would use. Wasn't sure. I was on the fence about that. But anyway, and still I'm not sure. I haven't actually, a not really nice fellow gave it to me 3 or 4 years ago, or maybe more than that now. And I never have really had time. Well, if I did have time, I didn't feel good. And when I felt good, I'm catching up on things I'm behind on. So I never have been able to learn about it and play with it like I dreamed, But it's sitting here waiting for me. I did play with it. I really only played with it just a little, like a couple of days in a row, and then made a couple of videos and stuff. But I mean, he gave me books, he gave me programs, software. I mean, I got everything I need to do TRS-80. I don't need no emulator. I got the real deal. But I still want to mess with that thing. But you see what every little thing takes. So just trying to make a backup drive more dependable, and now I've run into compatibility issues with my older. nothing as old as a TRS-80. But that is one thing you can do. That's what made me remember when I copied that file to it in the XP virtual machine. I copied it and I thought, now how did that work? And then I realized, that's because it uses virtual networking is what it uses. It's not actually it's not going from one machine to another over the network. It's virtual networking. So it mounts that drive as a network drive, and I don't know how that makes it be able to write to it, but it makes XP be able to write to the Ext4 file system as a network drive. Somehow that works. And I'm sitting here, what am I doing? Showing my file manager. I'm just going to close it. Showing my file manager in Jabber, and so if I'm going to Jabber, at least I could do is let you see me waving my hands and talking and telling stories, That's what I was doing, but I didn't even realize what I was showing. I was trying to go through my head about what I need to do, and I guess I'm going to have to quit for today. I'm just too tired to keep doing anymore. But let's see what I've got checklists here. Let's see how far I got. Yeah, I never got to the phones. I was gonna try backing. I'm not even gonna go in. I won't read the whole thing off, but I need to go back to backing up the phones. But what my plan was to plug this drive into the Fedora 14 system, set up some lucky backup profiles, and get them running, and just let it run for how many days it needs to run to back up everything on there. Well, we didn't get anywhere near that. As a matter of fact, we found out we can't do that. So that might have me rework my whole plan. I either need to plan on keeping it plugged into the Lenovo F5, or I need to install both of these drives into machines and really what would only make sense is the 8 terabyte being in a backup server, and then maybe the 5 terabyte being in the Lenovo i5 as the main drive. And like I said, I can leave most of my, as I make videos, I will leave them on there and then let it back up to the 8 terabyte, and then if it fills up, then I'll have to delete the older ones, is what I'd probably do, you know, as I go. But my eyes are so tired, I can't read my sticky note. But I'm sitting here with the backup drive. There we go. I can read that on the preview up there. Yeah, check the 5 terabyte phone backups for duplicate files. Yeah, that's something. I want to do that after I back them up. Is what I decided. I can use the either use the XP app, which I showed it earlier, or the FSLand in Linux, but it's not as featured as the one in Windows. The one in Windows, it'll show you like groups of similar files, and you can look through them, and you can really figure out which ones you want and which ones you don't. And for instance, files that have the same name but they're way small, like the ones that I had to interrupt my I didn't interrupt it. It hung up. The backup hung up. So it may be the same file name, similar file names, but way different file sizes. You don't want to just go on date and file size. Well, and that app uses checksums. So does, and the good thing about, if you back up first with something, a good backup like Lucky Backup, it uses checksums to check the files. It doesn't just go by file names and all that. And like some of these backup programs, I don't know that it even pays attention to file names. Some of them don't. They use checksums mostly, and I think there's maybe a little more to it than that. But so that's the second part of my notes for today. Let's see, what else have I got? Yeah, backup phones and delete video. Yeah, I was going to back up the phones and delete videos. That was yesterday, what I was trying to get done yesterday, and I got hung up in that. And I use the SSH, which I used Crusader and Fedora 14, and I knew that I thought it would probably work. Well, I forgot to check and see if I had any big files too, but really, I more I thought about it, I thought, you know what, I think recently I've been using FileZilla, even though I don't like the way it works, the interface so much, but I think it actually works when it doesn't hang up, and I think it's a lot I know it's a lot faster at writing. I keep forgetting that. I also wrote down, well, I could try, yeah, this is today's notes. Yeah, try USB cable straight from the phone. I can't remember if you can do that or not. To get to the SD card, I mean, the extra SD card, well, the SD card, the onboard memory, I think you can get, I can't remember what you can get to on my phones. If I have OTG, you can just do pretty much what you want to do, but my phones don't support it because the operating system's too old. And then use the Total Commander. I have Total Commander in the phones. And I started writing that out, and I thought, well, that's not the way I want to go. I don't want to copy from the phones to the backup. I want to use the backup program to connect to the phones and copy that way. That way you don't have any write permission problems. Or my phone Explorer, which I showed earlier today, the app. I didn't open it up, but I'd have to install that back on the phones. I took it off the phones because I needed space, and it wasn't working as good as it did at first too. But it does. You can do backups with it. You can do remote desktop with it, and you can use either Wi-Fi or USB cable. And the USB cable worked pretty good because that's a faster transfer speed, than Wi-Fi. But than with those phones anyway. Oh yeah, I need to upload my Christmas shopping videos to YouTube. Although I'm going to wait till after Christmas because I don't want anybody accidentally seeing what I got them. But well, not shopping videos, but like going through the stuff and seeing that it works and all that sort of stuff. Now that was yeah, that was yesterday's what I started with yesterday. Tried to reformat the drive. I finally did get that done, and back up the phones. That's all I said. Back up the phones. Reformat the try 8 to Ext4. I did that. Let's see. Research the file systems. I did that yesterday, and then back up the red black BIOS store. That's where I am today, and I didn't get anywhere on that. Finished setting up Fedora 29, and yeah, I'm nowhere near getting back on the Net Pro Max again. That's what that's on. My server, it's going to be my new server when I get it set up. Every little sidetrack ends up to being a big project instead of just a one day thing. And GUI login install. Oh, the GUI login app. Yeah, there is another GUI login app. Greet screen, login screen that I saw in some of the stuff I saw that I can install, and I guess that's what I should do, because I'm not getting the default one by running the commands that I've already ran. So, yeah, I don't. That just helps me to go over that. That doesn't need to be under the camera, but that's where I keep it. That's where I set it. And that makes me feel better to have it there. All right. I'm wasted, so I really hardly know what I'm doing anymore. So reading that over, actually that was quite helpful. I thought it was kind of silly when I started doing it, but so those are the things to come for my plans. Those are my plans. Now, if I go off on other sticky notes, I've got sticky notes after sticky notes after sticky notes up there that can't be seen in the video here, but of things that some of them I will do, I guess. Some of them I may fall by the wayside, but all right. So I'm not going to be able to write to the new Ext4 on the old Fedora system. So yeah, well, I just went around and around about what I could do. So that'll mold around in my head, and between tonight and tomorrow, and a lot of times I'll wake up. Luckily, I guess because when I go to bed, I'm so tired I just pass out. But a lot of times you lay awake thinking about stuff. I don't do that a lot anymore. Well, one reason is because I take medicine, and a lot of it makes me sleepy. So I guess that's good. Doorbell rang. I guess I didn't hear a truck, but I guess it would be a delivery. I'm not the only one here though, so somebody ought to be able to go answer the door. I'm making a video. I'm making a live video. All right. I'm not expecting anything. So for a minute I thought, oh, I have to go. So anyway, what was I saying? I don't like those interruptions like that. I don't know what to do. Okay. Somebody keeps ringing the doorbell. I'm going to go peek out the window and see if it's like a salesman or what the heck it is. Oh, I don't know. Why should I do that? Somebody, I'll go look. Crap.
Christina.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I'm in the middle of making a video. I'll stop. I was getting ready to quit it anyway, so. Well, it's actually an old friend of mine, so I'm gonna go. All right, I'll see you later.